New on Curiosity Stream. How do you connect a 16th century potato to limitless energy production? Could Napoleon's toothpick have a direct link to a machine that predicts the future? And how can a 1700s conch shell chart a course to humans connecting their brains to the internet? James Burke's visionary series Connections returns for a new generation. Experience all new Connections. With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Times are old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, manual.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, the illustrious, the handsome, the intelligent, the former Green Beret, Israel Wright, and with me, as always,
Cameron Fath, former Army Ranger, also illustrious, even more mysterious, and just a dabble of intriguing.
Ooh, I like that.
You like that one?
That makes me intrigued. So you are correct. You are intriguing.
See, I think the combo of mysterious and intriguing is a illustrious
combo.
See, I'm just recycling words right now to make myself seem intelligent. I don't even know what happened to me, honestly.
I have a college degree.
I go to college. What about it? This is what happens when you send me to college for free. I just dick away. I don't pay attention.
Pay you to go to college, man. You got that GI Bill, man.
Exactly. A GI Bill, baby.
So pay your taxes, folks.
Yeah, serve your nation, and you too can go to college for free. It's crazy. You want college for free? Go serve.
All you gotta do is sign your life away.
No, it's that easy.
Folks, we know winning is amazing.
Everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win.
Guess what? If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what second place is? First place losers.
First place loser. But sometimes, just sometimes, in pop culture, it's better to be the loser, or to give your life up for a great cause, or to take one last stand in the face of overwhelming odds. So today we are going to do an episode on some famous last stands, some where the guys, maybe they don't necessarily make it out alive, but they are up against some superior force, some greater enemy, and yet they still stand their ground.
Exactly. Like I've said in the podcast earlier, I'd rather die in a pile of brass than run like a coward.
There you go.
So this episode is dedicated to all the hard chargers. Doesn't matter if they won,
the
doesn't matter if they
diehards.
lost. They fought with all the hair on their chest.
That's right. Even if it got blown up at the end, like in Rogue One.
Yeah, like in Rogue One.
Yeah, that could be. I guess we could start off with that if we wanted to.
Is it?
It's not one in particular. Just kind of popped into my head just now.
Did they do a last stand on Rogue
Well, yeah,
One?
I mean, yeah. Basically, it's the final assault. So let's start with Rogue One.
Hell yeah, let's go right into it.
It's Star Wars standalone story, right? It's how they get the plans to the Death Star. They're on this outpost. That's where the plans are, and they do like one final assault with a small kind of special forces style group. They do like a distracting tactic, and then other people sneak in and they get the plans, and that's when everybody just starts dropping. All the characters from the movie prior, just start dropping like flies, and they all kind of get. Some of them get illustrious deaths, some of them just get blown up, but they just start going one by one, and they know it's a suicide mission. At one point, they know the odds are against them. And there's even a space battle that happens, at one point, the kind of a stalling tactic, and those people start getting torn apart. But they do end up beaming the plans up to a ship, right before the Death Star kind of gives like a little 10% burst, which basically blows up half the planet.
Exactly.
And they're sitting there, the two main characters are, and they're looking at each other, and then the blast wave just overtakes them and just takes them all.
I mean, they did it. That was the last pitch hope for them to even have a small chance.
Yeah.
Of taking out the Death Star.
And and then they go out, and it kind of dovetails right into A New Hope.
It does.
Kind of.
I mean, it ends off seeing Darth Vader just riggedy wreck.
Yeah, we are treated to some great fan service. Him just laying waste to some guys. You know,
because you never actually see in A New Hope. You never see Darth Vader actually getting after.
He's kind of on the wane a little bit. Yeah. The first time you see him fighting, it's kind of two old men going at each other.
Two old guys. It's slow. It's not exciting.
Which I guess now that I'm thinking about it, we're treated to this really great scene where he's going down the hallway, taking out these guys left and right, and then the fight scene between him and Obi-Wan Kenobi is like maybe a day or two later. So he really slowed down between those 2 days. So it doesn't exactly work. But
he forgot his coffee.
Yeah, he got up on the wrong side of the regeneration chamber that morning. So.
Yeah, because that scene is brutal. He massacres those people, and it's like, damn.
Yeah,
it's like this guy's got moves.
Yeah,
because back then watching especially now. I'm a young man. I live life fast. Okay,
unlike me.
I love living fast and watching like A New Hope and number 5, number 6, and seeing Darth Vader. You're like, this guy's slow. He's old. How is this guy as powerful?
Sorry, I'm just laughing because you said watching A New Hope, number 5, number 6. You didn't want to think of the names.
I didn't want to think of the names. I was lost. But so watching those movies, you see it and you hear the stories of how I love how I was doing my Italian hand.
You hear the stories.
You hear the stories
the
of how powerful Darth Vader is, and he doesn't live up to it for me. He doesn't do it for me. But then
it's a problem with prequels,
And then Rogue One comes out, and you see him actually at his full potential of how he should have been, and I'm like, okay,
how he might have been.
He can't shoot lightning, but hell, he sure is really good at genocide. Mm-hmm. So that was awesome. But yeah, I like how you brought up Rogue One because that was one of my favorite Star Wars, basically part of the whole universe before Mandalorian came out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was like the pinnacle of my favorite Star Wars film. So
right on. I'm glad that kind of popped in there. Yeah. So
I'm glad you threw it in there because I didn't really see it as a Last Stand, but your perception of it changed my mind. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to talk about a Last Stand here on our list that we wrote. Chris sometimes writes these lists, but I agree with this one.
He helps us out a little bit.
He helps us out. But I agree with this one. Fury. So the movie Fury about the armor division. We're in World War II. So Brad Pitt, right? Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, that guy, and the other guy.
John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher in the Netflix the series. And then, don't tell me his names. I'm trying to get good at this whole naming actor bullshit.
He was in 12
Michael
Strong
Pena?
too. Michael Pena.
Michael Pena. There you go. I'm learning. This is so exciting. So Michael Pena, they're all in a tank crew, and they get this new guy who, I don't know what actor that is.
Logan Lerman.
Is it Logan Lerman?
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, you catched it right out of my mouth.
Right there in the paragraph.
Is it? Okay, I didn't read the paragraph. Okay, so Logan Lerman, they're all in a tank in the Armor Division World War II. They're tankers, right? So people don't understand about the tank life, and I don't either. So watching this movie is kind of a, the closest thing I got to a tank was riding around in Stryker, right?
Right.
Yeah, so Stryker was the closest thing to a tank I was riding around in during my service, and that was fun. But, I mean, living days on end inside of a giant hunk of metal, that can't be fun.
How stinky must that be after a couple of days?
I know.
Hot, sweltering. I don't know if they were in the
I doubt they had AC.
Germany.
I doubt they had AC back then.
They probably had a couple fans just blowing hot air.
Yeah, hot air just blowing it around. Blowing the BO around. But the final scene is what we're talking about in this movie. And I love the movie. I mean, after Fury came out, do you know how many motherfuckers got that haircut that Brad Pitt had?
Oh, the
in
side
the military,
shave.
Side shaved. Like, everybody cut their hair like that because you're like, I want to look like Brad Pitt. Because that's an authorized haircut.
Who doesn't?
But so many people... I got the haircut. I was one of those guys. So I got the haircut. But Brad Pitt character's the tank commander. He's Staff Sergeant Big Daddy. Staff Sergeant Collier. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, there's so many iconic parts of that movie and scenes, like the dead horse scene.
Yep.
That's a crazy scene.
The creepy dinner with the ladies
creepy's
scene.
Like, you will not ruin this for me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you like horses? Like, that's a crazy, that's a dark scene, but it is a good scene. And then, do you know, fun fact real quick, Shia LaBeouf's character, he is a method actor. So during that filming, have you ever noticed in the entire movie, he has like an open cut on his cheek? So every day before filming, he would recut that cut with a razor blade to keep it fresh.
Oh my gosh!
So that's how crazy Shia LaBeouf is.
I heard that he plays a very kind of religious guy.
Very religious man.
And I heard he kind of went to church a lot. And he's
always trying to convert people in the tank.
Yeah.
He's always saying Bible verses and everything, and he's always like, fucking Bible. But
not the method I would use. But,
but at the end, the Staff Sergeant Collier, Brad Pitt's character, is like, he starts talking about God and stuff because he lost God for a while. Because obviously, when you're in that type of war, you're like, there is no God.
Yeah, it's gritty. It's rough.
It is rough.
The last scene, they lose their tank treads. They can't.
Yeah,
move.
so they hit a mine. They hit a mine, and the tank tread gets basically blown off the track, and they're stuck
right in the middle of the road.
And they're next to this barn that's out in Germany. And they send out, an LPOP, which is pretty much observation point. It's like an early warning detection system. And they have the new guy up there with like an MRE, and he spots a like company to battalion size element moving of Nazis, of German soldiers. And he goes and they're like, oh fuck, we can run, and they're just like, you know what? They're like, you guys can run, but I'm gonna stay. Our order was to, take them out, or at least to hold this position. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold this position. So they all knew they were gonna die. Like 100%, they knew they were gonna die. Yep. They didn't have enough ammo for a battalion. Not to mention the battalion size element is huge. That's more than 5 guys. Let me tell you, that's more than 5. But that's a big number, and I mean, they only had their main gun, couple 30 millimeter. Brownings, some grease guns.
Yep, they got a couple of different kinds of rounds. They fire off a couple Willie Pete's.
Yeah, they got some MP44s. And the grease gun, do you know the M3 grease gun? It's the gun that he hands the guy, and he's like, teach him how to use it. He's like, you open this. He's like, now you're killing. And he's like, you close it. Now you're not. That scene, do you remember that?
No, man. It's been a minute since I saw this.
Yeah, so the grease gun was like pretty much a solution to a fully automatic submachine gun that could be mass produced for very cheap because it was just stamped steel, just stacked on top of each other. If you look it up, it looks like a little oil, like dreidel tank
called
thing.
The grease gun.
Yeah, it's called the grease gun because it literally runs out of grease and you just throw anything on it and it can shoot. But it's really low rate of fire. It's like kung 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 kung.
Okay.
But that was World War II, mainly a tanker because it was a submachine gun.
All right.
But yeah, you literally open the feed tray or you open the dust cover and you're killing.
Right
and
on.
You close it and that's the safety. So it's like he opens it. He's like, you open that, you're killing. You close it, now you're not. So that's just an iconic last stand. I mean, all of them except for the young private die.
Yep.
And that was a big battle. Big battle.
Yeah, I love how they basically use everything at their disposal. They're just laying waste, they're traversing, they're firing off. I love the tank commands. He's like clear on the way, and he's just shot.
The communication.
The communication. They're like a well-oiled machine because they just been in this war for years together.
That's team cohesion. That's team cohesion.
Yep.
And like the reason they get that new guy is because the old guy dies.
Yeah.
And he comes in, he's like, you think you're going to replace him?
Yeah.
And
man.
That's just where that camaraderie comes in the military. And it's like you learn to work with the people and you learn to communicate and you learn how each other work. And it's the same thing in a fire team for infantry. And it really relates to like room clearing because you all know your strategy, you know how you move. And if you keep working in a team, that just shows you how easy it is to learn everybody's movements and to, become that Super Bowl winning team at the end.
Yeah,
that Friday Night Lights, baby.
And the only way you could give a good last stand is being that well-oiled machine and going and being able to survive that long against the overwhelming odds, until like they're just basically almost all out of bullets, they got nothing left. And the guy even one of the guys tries to get into the tank and Brad Pitt just like stabs him through the neck. He pulls him in and stabs him and then like throws him out,
Yeah.
I really want to talk about, of course, 13 Hours.
13 Benghazi!
Yep, September 11th.
Thanks, Hillary.
2012. We're bringing it back, folks.
Never
Go watch
forget.
the Gameology. Islamic militants attacked the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. And we lost 4 people there, including our ambassador, J. Christopher Stevens. and Sean Smith, and then two operators that we had there.
Yeah, they were former SEALs, the CIA contractors.
CIA contractors, yeah. They go there, they try to get them out, and then they take the people that they do have, back to the annex, and then they have to defend against the attackers there. You know? Very organized, planned out attack, you know, and they survive this 13-hour ordeal, you know, and then they finally get relieved and stuff. So it's so wild. The movie is great. I never got a chance to read the book, but the movie is really well done. The thing I always love about movies like this is how they're really good at creating they communicate the relationships that the guys had with each other, the brotherhood and the camaraderie that they had. Pablo Schreiber, one of the actors, is so great. I just remember his performance. Like, when you look at it, when you watch a movie and you can say to yourself, I know people like that in real life, Pablo Schreiber as one of the operators he's hilarious. You know?
Which one is he playing Chris Tonto Peranto, the Army Ranger?
I can't remember. The names escape me at this very moment, but there's a scene. Is he
the one wearing shorts? He's like, you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he gets some Libyans that come to help him, and they're going over a wall, and one of like red flags, and like he points, he's like, get your barrel out of my face, man. Like, he's just he's so aggravated by the help, you know, like.
Yeah, that character is actually Chris Tonto Peranto.
Okay,
he was a former Army Ranger.
Okay, all right. So. Dude, I love it. He just played that, so I'm like, I know guys like that, you know. This is one where, you know, yeah, we did lose some guys, but ultimately they got out of there alive. They just had to hold out.
Yeah, they had to hold out because, I mean, they didn't send the QRF. That was the thing. Because they had QRF stage, but it went up pretty high and it never got down to it. So they had to, you know, fight their way out, or at least hold on long enough to make it out. On a side note about 13 Hours, man, who knew Jim Halpert from The Office, you know, wanted to become an operator?
Yeah, John. Yeah. And it's so funny because they got him and the one guy.
Pam's
ex-boyfriend.
Ex-fiance.
Get
it right, bro.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. Sorry, Office fans.
Yeah, but
I think it's so funny they end up being there together. Yeah,
they probably networked that job together from The Office. They're like, "Hey, you want to go?"
I know a good guy who might work. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And Michael Bay's best film by far of all time, even better than all the Transformers movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, how do you top those?
I know it's hard. You do 13 Hours. That's how you do it.
Yeah, 13 Hours is great. That was. I watch it every year, pretty much.
Oh.
Because I never forget what happened. All right. So, I know you want to talk about this one.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yes. Because we have to mention it in almost every single podcast.
Aliens.
The LV-426, which basically the entire mission ends up being a last stand because after their initial encounter, so this is Aliens, a 1980s movie, talked about it a lot. LV-426 is the planet that they end up going to investigate what happened to the colony, Hadley's Hope. And they have their first encounter. And a lot of them die, and then after that, it's basically like 4 or 5 people. You know, there's Hudson, Vasquez, Gorman's knocked out. You know, the lieutenant. You got Ripley. You got Hicks. And you got.
I am the ultimate badass.
And you got. Let's see. And you got little Newt. You know, and that's kind of it. You know. Bishop. Oh yes, Bishop. Yeah. Thank you, Bishop. That'll be all. Yeah, and so, you know, they come up, they find out that they can't stay there, right? They're hunkered down in the headquarters element, but because of the damage that they did to the reactor, it's going to melt down. So they've got they've got a couple hours to get out of there. So Bishop takes off to go remote pilot the troop carrier down to get him out of there. Burke tries to get Ripley and Newt impregnated with the face huggers. So they're interrogating him, and they're like, we're going to take him out. And then the lights go out, and they realize that the aliens have gotten into the compound, you know. And so they're
inside the wire. I probably can't say the G word in this podcast.
Yes, no, you can't. I don't know what the G word is, but you can't say it. You could.
Vietnam phrase.
We'll just, yes. How can they cut the power, man? They're animals. And they do the great tension building with the motion trackers where there's 20 meters, 10. It can't be, that's inside the room. And then they have the great moment where Hicks goes up. They look at the ceiling, like, oh my gosh. And he looks, and they all start busting through the ceiling, and it's just a free for all. And Burke gets away, but then he gets got, by an alien. But he locks the door. He locks the door behind him, so they're kind of trapped. They have to cut through, and I might get a little emotional.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you, man. So Hudson, I got to talk about Hudson. He gets a special mention because his character in the beginning, he's this, he's disrespectful. He's a loudmouth, and he talks like he's some big guy, right? Mm-hmm. There's even a scene in the extended version, right when they're going down to the planet. He's like, "Look at me, look at my team of awesome soldiers. We can protect you from anything." And then they get the floor wiped with him by the aliens, and he's like freaked out, man. And he's like a coward, And then he has this moment, where he's firing at him and he's just going crazy. "You want some of this? You want some of this?" And he's just letting loose. He's like not gonna, he has this great like moment where
his redeeming
he redeems himself, and he's like, "You want some of this? F you," and he's going, and then the floor bursts open and the aliens kind of grab him and they drag him down, and he's like firing at him. He's like, "F you," and he grabs for Hicks, and then he finally just gets dragged down. He just,
I gotta
love it.
rewatch Aliens.
Dude.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
You talk about what movies that I watch every year. That at least once a year.
At least once a year.
For my birthday, usually it's like I want to watch Aliens.
Ooh, what do you want to do for your birthday? I gotta watch my Aliens.
Yeah, I gotta watch my programs. But anyway, that stand, and then of course they get out there, and then you go up to the service or the ship. They get the power loader. That's like a great last little battle. But that moment of when them trying to get out of there, them being surrounded, it's a great last stand.
I mean, I'm gonna kind of take a couple steps back and go back into the military last stand, just because there's so many good ones.
There's so many.
There's so
many stories throughout history that people take from.
Yeah, and it's honestly easier to think of real life last stands than it is to think of like ones in pop culture and movies. Yeah. You could say that all these have been derived and inspired from those last stands. I mean, in colonial times, like just think about how many last stands there were. Every battle was a last stand. It
right,
seems like in colonial
they're out
time.
flapping in some colony somewhere. Mm-hmm. The locals rise up or whatever,
Yeah, like you hear stories of like the Battle of. Oh man, this is gonna bother me. Where like 500 Zulu warriors tried.
Yeah, it's from Zulu. Yeah,
it's they tried overrunning that encampment of South African soldiers.
Yeah, and the British soldiers.
The British soldiers, and they managed to
York's
find them all
Drift.
Something like that.
Something like York's Drift. We've talked about it before, but yeah. I was trying to think about getting ready for this episode. Like, what is it about a last stand or like, these overwhelming odds that like there's something that I get choked up when I get moved whenever I think about just like that, just fighting against overwhelming odds. And it's almost like, you're going to die. And maybe it's like calling to like, that kind of that part of us that longs to do something great or to be a part of something, to give something of yourself, ultimately of yourself to something, to some great moment or to some great cause or anything like that.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
I don't know. It's just it's really interesting. It never ceases to kind of touch me, and I'm sure it's got to have something to do with giving something, giving to yourself to something that's greater than you are, even if it's just a moment, because I think we all want, whether it's to be remembered, to know that your life meant something, to know that you are going to be remembered, or that we have this call inside of us to go forth and I guess maybe it's just as simple as like giving yourself some meaning in your life, even if it's just a single moment.
Platoon.
Oh yeah,
Charlie Sheen, right?
Classic
the last stand when they're like in the foxhole and it's those two guys, and all of a sudden you just see like the mines start going off, and I rewatched it because I was like, I have to watch this again, and they're just completely overrun with Charlie, and they're like, I can't say the G word, I can't say it.
You can say Viet Cong, North Vietnamese.
Viet Cong in the wire, man. I'll be right back. And you just see them running, and you see like the flare go up, and you just look into the trees and you can see kind of the movement, and all of a sudden you see Charlie Sheen just start clacking the claymores. It's like,
yeah.
I was like, that's so cool.
Everything goes crazy.
Everything goes crazy. The guy's running. He's like, they're right on my ass, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, just watching the evolution of Charlie Sheen throughout throughout his experience in the jungle.
Kind of fresh-faced recruit.
The fresh face and seeing how they turn into the salty specialist.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally how it goes. It's funny, I saw a meme the other day, and I was like, when you join the army, and it's like a picture of this really nerdy kid, like, first day of preschool kind of vibes, and then it's like 3 years into it, it's a picture of this Shia LaBeouf smoking a cigarette with, like, covered in tattoos. Yeah, no, it's Shia LaBeouf in Even Stevens, and then Shia LaBeouf in, like, the Dealer movie where he plays Mexican cartel, and that's, like, a matter of 3 years in the army. But anyways, yeah, Charlie Sheen's, like, in the foxhole. And the guy comes over and he's like, they're in the wire. I gotta go, man. And then he's like clacking off the claymores and they just start fighting it out. And Charlie Sheen just, becomes this cold-blooded killer. And he's just like, I'm in here doing it. And then who's that one guy that plays the main doctor in Scrubs? The boss doctor? John C. McGinley.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically he's like, he's basically the butt buddy of Staff Sergeant, what's his name? I'm blanking on this.
Tom Berenger's character?
Bob Barnes. So
Bob.
Staff Sergeant Barnes, right?
Okay.
The mean one with the scar on his face.
Yeah, Tom Berenger, yeah.
Yeah, Tom Berenger's character. So
Sniper.
Sniper. That's a great movie. That's a good movie. That was like my first military movie. But anyways, he's like, that guy ends up surviving the wave because he like becomes a coward and he like puts a dead body over himself and acts dead.
Yep.
And then in the morning they all like come out and they're like, ooh, we made it.
Yeah.
And,
is he the guy that stabs himself in the leg so he can go to the hospital?
So he goes to the hospital.
We gotta get high.
Yeah, man, that dude sucks in that movie. He's like such a... Everyone knows that guy who's just a suck-up, and then but he's a coward. And he's like, as long as he's around like the power, he thinks he has like all the power, but in another room, he's a fucking pussy. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, so I think Platoon, that one's an awesome last stand, and I have like 2 other ones I want to talk about really quick, but you go.
All right, I got one. This is kind of a not a very well known one, which is why I kind of want to throw it in there. And it's Spartan, starring Val Kilmer. And it's written and directed by David Mamet, who's a very famous playwright, written a lot of great stuff. And his dialogue is very unique. He's known for kind of unique dialogue. But Spartan, it's Val Kilmer. He's a Delta Force guy, and he basically has like a solo mission to try to rescue the president's daughter's been kidnapped. And he goes on a mission to go find her. And halfway through the mission, for political reasons, they call it off. They're just going to let her go. But he decides that he's going to go get her anyway, And the last stand part of it is that he's kind of on his own. He's got one contact, and he's like, you got to get to this airport. There's going to be we got a Connex box. We're going to put you in, going to ship you off. And they get to the airport and they find out that like an American task force is there to stop him. Because it would be just like really politically bad for the president if they found his daughter alive.
Like, you don't want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's trying to they're like shooting at him, and he sees there's like a Swedish news team that's like loading up their plane. So he tries to get her to them, to get their attention, and they end up shooting him. And so he falls down, and she runs, but she panics, and she's like afraid. And the bad guy, the American guy's like trying to, it's okay, it's all right, And they go to kind of like they're going to shoot her, but then the Swedish news team shows up and they see her. They're like, it's the president's daughter. So then they're like, oh yes, we were about to rescue her. Yes. And they kind of take her and they know she knows she's safe because they've got footage and stuff. But they kind of just leave him there to die. And then like one of his contacts comes and like the last shot of the movie is you see him watching TV kind of out on the street, watching like a TV screen through the window. And they say, oh, the president is so happy to get his daughter back. And he's going to do a new initiative on human sex trafficking. And because they were going to sell her into like,
into the
Middle Eastern, sex trafficking. And he's just like, oh, what a lucky guy he is. And you see him, he's in England somewhere.
Yeah,
and
he's just
walks
living
off.
his life.
He's living his life. And
that's cool, man. I've never heard of that movie.
yeah, it's really good. It's a real like small movie. Yeah. But it's got some good action. Val Kilmer. It's Val Kilmer, an understated performance, but really good.
I'll have to check that one out. That sounds pretty fun to watch.
Really good espionage.
That's good. Yeah. On my list here, like I said, I have 2 quick ones I just want to go over.
For it, man.
One that I came across and I was like, I totally forgot about this movie, but I'm a huge Liam Neeson fan.
All right.
I think I'm more of a fan of his voice because it's very calming.
Everyone, grab a newspaper.
Yeah. Liam Neeson's great. All the Takens, right?
Yep.
All the Takens they're just good movies to watch, and they make you, regret traveling to Europe because you think you're about to get kidnapped and whatnot and sold into the sex trade. But The Gray. I like The
Oh
Grey.
my gosh.
I know
Okay.
you don't like that movie. It's okay. I like this movie.
Go ahead. That's all
It's
you.
okay. The main reason is just the final scene. You know, I understand it's bleak, it's boring.
It's so bleak.
It's about a man and the will to survive. That's what, that's what gets it for me. And
Because they're in Alaska, just
Yeah,
to
they're
kind
in
of lead into it, and they're on a plane ride to go back to like the mainland, but
Yes,
they crash
they
in the
crash.
snowy, plains, and
Exactly.
they're trying to make it through the wilderness, and there's a wolf.
there's a wolf pack that's tracking them and taking them out one by
Right,
one.
one by one. Pretty soon it's just
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
And it's just Liam Neeson at the end.
At the end, yeah.
And the ending scene of the movie is the last stand I'm referring to, and it's Liam Neeson, and he's thinking about all the flashbacks, and this one word, this one sentence, "into the fray," keeps popping up, and there's a letter he's imagining, and is it from his daughter or is it from his wife? Or
I think it's from his wife, and
Yeah.
there's I don't know if you want to talk about it, but there's something about his wife that kind of it was kind of the reason why
He's
he was
out
up in
there.
that remote outpost.
Yeah.
You can talk about it.
You
if
can
want
talk
to.
about it.
Well,
You talk about it.
so in the beginning, that he's not having a good time up in Alaska. He's kind of the security guard.
Yeah,
he's there to
kills
keep the wolves away
away.
and stuff like that. And you keep seeing images of his wife, like flashbacks and stuff, and she's like kind of laying in bed. It's like a romantic kind of. They're covered in the covers, and at the end, when he's thinking about all this stuff, he's kind of everything's coming into focus for him, and he's building himself up to go and do what he's about to do. The image of his wife reappears, and the covers pull back, and you could see that she's in a hospital bed, and that she has died.
She died,
and he went to Alaska kind of just to end his life, because he had no hope.
Exactly.
But that image comes back when he's about ready to.
And that's what gives him the fight. He's like, I gotta live for something. And what he does is he empties his backpack. Like, he's surrounded by a pack of wolves, and these are like wolves.
Yeah.
Like straight. This isn't like
Dire wolf size,
This isn't like your husky running around, but they're straight dire wolves. Like there's an all black one that's terrifying looking.
Kind of the pack leader.
Yeah, the alpha, if you will. And he takes out. This is a funny part to me, but it looks cool. But in function wise, I wouldn't roll this. But he takes a bunch of vodka shooter bottles and puts them in between his fingers, and then electrical tapes them to his hand, and then puts a knife in the other hand and electrical tapes it to his hand so he doesn't lose it. And he smacks the vodka bottles on the rocks to break them. So now he's got glass brass knuckles and a knife. And then the movie and he's looking at the wolf, and he's ready to scrap with these guys. And then the movie ends.
Yep.
And I'm like, that was cool. I was like, that was sick. Come on. I wish it leaves you at a cliffhanger, and you're like, I want to know what happens.
Yeah. He kind of, I guess the point at the end is he has a reason to live.
Oh yeah,
The
And
whole
he's gonna
movie, he's
fight.
just kind of
he's just going with the motions until he dies. But this time, it's he's making his own. He's making his own destiny. He's not just living for. He's living for himself and his wife.
I love it.
And then finally, the final one. We mentioned this every single podcast, but I have to. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring,
You
Boromir's
can't
last
get
stand.
away from the greatness that is
No.
that last stand.
The last
man.
stand, Boromir to try and save the
Yeah.
younglings.
It really is Boromir's last stand.
It's how he redeems himself.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, he's gonna go down in history as the worst. A Boromir. That's like an insult if you call someone a Boromir. It's
being
like
a
calling
Boromir.
You're such a Boromir. It's like a backstabber. But that was his rising redemption, because he's initially he gets taken over by the corruption of the ring, and it's. It molds his mind to where it does what it does. It does exactly what the ring is supposed to do, and it corrupts men, to want to be just seek power instead of seek peace.
Yep.
And it takes control of him, and he wants it for himself because he thinks it'll, save Gondor and, help aid the war effort.
Yeah.
Minister
Let Gondor
needs
have the weapon of the enemy.
Give Gondor the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wants it. He ends up almost betraying Frodo, and he's like, "What have I done?" And then he tries to save. Is it Pippin? Merry and Pippin.
Merry and Pippin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he ends up fighting an entire army of Uruk-hai, which are let me upgrade you, orcs. And he's probably not. He does a good job. He takes out. He stacks bodies.
Yeah, and he gets one arrow in him, and he keeps
Continues
fighting.
to fight.
And he gets
another
a second arrow in him, and he almost goes down, but he comes back up.
back up, takes out another one, a third arrow.
A third arrow, and then
Then I think do we get to number 4?
No,
and
I
number
think
4 is Aragorn stops number 4.
Yeah, that's right. He's about to shoot
he's
him
about
point
to shoot
blank,
him point
and
blank,
Aragorn
and then he
in.
comes in.
Yeah.
That Uruk-hai
Yeah.
he had the upper hand on Aragorn. He fucked him up.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's crazy when he slices off the arm and then he stabs him. The Urkai just pulls him closer.
Yeah, he doesn't even
He's
care.
like, I don't care. That last stand is awesome. I had to throw it in there.
That's great, man. That's a great. I think there's a lot of different styles of The Last Stand. Different circumstances, but it's the one that this is one where it's the redemptive Last Stand. It's where, in order to redeem himself from the actions that he has to give his life, he has to come back and that makes it that much.
He shows his true colors.
His point, you can see that he was flawed, but he had a good heart in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he needed it.
Yeah,
but good.
Well, folks, I think that's all the time we got for the mainland.
The main chunk of chicken.
The main chunk of change. What do you say we play a game?
I say, let us.
Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hello,
I've been
Chris.
here the whole time.
Hey,
but
magic voice, Chris.
I just haven't said anything.
Oh my gosh!
Although I think I shouted at Cameron at some point, but
Yeah.
All
What did I
right,
say?
Turn your phone off. I don't know.
I don't know.
no, I don't know. Maybe I just shouted in my head.
It's the voices again, aren't they, Chris? They're
It's
back.
the forest
It's
people.
it's the darkness.
It's the force
They
people.
never go away.
They never go away. Sometimes they come out at night, mostly.
What's your name?
All right. This is called One-Liner Bonanza. I think you guys played this before, but you're feeding lines to each other, but I'm just going to feed you both lines and see how you do.
All right.
I know some of these words.
This is where we gotta name what the movie's from, right?
Yes.
Are they all Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners?
Yeah.
No,
No, they're just one-liners in
These are just
general.
one-liners, and you have to tell me the movie or the game that they come from.
Right on.
You're gonna.
Although, I don't know why I
You're
put
gonna
game,
be
I think
key.
they're all movies.
Okay.
Okay? These will all be themed with Last Stand movies.
Hey, all right, cool.
I
Okay.
picked some especially hard ones. Good luck.
Alrighty.
All right, so the warm-up is game over, man. Game over.
Game over,
Oh,
man. Game
come
over.
on. Don't waste my time. It's Hudson from Aliens, man.
That's correct. That's why it's the warm-up.
Oh,
It's just
okay,
so
that was
that
the
you guys
warm-up.
understand how
All
it
right,
works.
All right. That is one of the most, that's one of the great things about Hudson. He has some iconic lines. Maybe we got him demoralized.
My first team leader would say that every other day. It seems like game over, man. Game over.
Oh, man.
All right. I put one from Predator, but you guys will get it immediately. You're one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you prefaced with.
I put it
It's
in
from Predator.
No. I'm not saying it because
It
you
was
would
the
have got
second
it.
warm-up, yeah.
Yeah, that's the second warm-up.
Well, when
Oh.
you do the accent, it's the dead giveaway. Yeah.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
All right.
Plus, your Arnold impression is way better than mine.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I started this war killing Germans in Africa, then France, then Belgium. Now I'm killing Germans in Germany. It will end soon, but before it does, a lot more people gotta die.
Fury.
That's right, it's Fury. Wow.
Nice.
No hesitation.
Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's got some great World War II lines between that and Inglourious Bastards. I want my Nazi scalps.
I want my scalp.
I want my
gentlemen.
scalps.
All right. Next one. If I die, make sure Cindy knows how much I love her and that I died here with my brothers with a full fucking heart.
Ooh.
Oh, that's dumb.
That sounds really familiar.
Can you repeat it?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Per your request. If I die, make sure Cindy knows how much I love her and that I died here with my brothers with a full fucking heart.
Golly, that sounds really familiar. I mean,
Who is Cindy?
I mean, girl, I guess.
I guess a girl. That's a fair guess.
With the full heart one, and then I dealt with the full heart. If I die here, yeah. I feel like World War II is the era. It's not Hacksaw Ridge, I don't think.
I was thinking Hacksaw Ridge too, but it's not really. I guess no.
I feel like it's like right before they're gonna go do something, right? If I die here, like he's given a last minute, but I can't. Like Band of Brothers, maybe. No. Die with my brothers, with a full heart.
I'm not getting
A
it.
full flibbity jibbin heart. I think that's the exact line.
Is it Alamo?
A full friggin' heart.
Is it the Alamo?
It is not.
Okay.
It is Lone Survivor.
Lone
Really?
Survivor, yeah.
Okay.
Good one, man. Good actors in there. You got
There is good actors.
All
Ben
right.
Foster gave a good performance.
1 and 2. 1 for 2. All right.
Happening.
All the gods, all the heavens, all the hells are within you.
All the gods.
Is that 300?
I feel like it's like some sort of, it's maybe like it's a Last Stand thing. So it's, I don't think all the gods, all the heavens, all the hells are within you. I don't think that's from 300. Man, that's a good one. That's not.
I'm going with 300.
Go 3. All right, I'll go with you. I'll jump in with you.
It's 13 hours.
Oh,
What?
That doesn't sound like a 13 hours kind of thing.
Well, I got it off the internet, so it's got to be true.
Yeah.
I told you
Who
some
can
of them
argue
were
with that? I
hard.
can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
Some of them were hard. Okay. Next one. Broke my own rule. Started to give a fuck. And brought you guys along with me. We're about to walk into some serious shit.
My own rule.
Man, that's not Fury.
These are hard.
These are hard, man.
I said they were hard, and I
Yeah.
said good luck.
What you did send us good. You did wish us good luck. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's not helping, but
Say it one more time.
Broke my own rule. Started to give a fuck. And brought you guys along with me. We're about to walk into some serious shit.
Ugh, I like that. It's a good line.
it is good. Oh, man. Is it Tears of the Sun?
It is Tears of the Sun.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right.
There we go.
Man, snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
All right, so you're 2 for 2.
All right.
And this one is the rubber match.
Oh, brother.
I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of the winter tied to this fucking couch!
Do you know it, Cam? I know it.
With tied
I love the
to
delivery,
this
too.
couch.
I love it. Great delivery.
Thank you.
Do you know it, Cam?
I know that.
Is it
knows
Independence
what it is.
Day?
Nope.
No. I don't know this.
It's when we didn't discuss it, but it is The Last Stand. The whole movie's The Last Stand. It's from The Thing.
Oh, from
John
The
Carpenter's
Thing?
The Thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They got the
It's been a while since I've
security
seen
guy.
Scary. It's after they do all the blood tests and he's still tied to the couch.
Still trying.
And he's very quiet. And he's just like, I know you guys have been through a lot, but
They did a remake of The Thing, didn't they?
Yeah,
well,
was-
it's like a
It was
prequel.
it was a
Oh, it's a
prequel and it was
prequel.
garbage. It was
It was
complete and utter
garbage?
garbage. Yes.
Really?
Never see it.
It was trying to be. It was very much fan service, but it wasn't stupendous. The first one's just too good. You can't. imagine.
Yeah, you can't.
Which I mean, the Thing is actually a remake.
well, yeah, of a 1950s movie,
Yeah,
right?
called The Thing from Outer
The
Space.
Thing from Outer Space.
And it's a giant carrot.
Is it a giant carrot?
It's a giant guy with like
Sure
a giant
is.
head
Oh,
piece on.
Looks like a carrot.
Yeah.
looks like a
All right, great. You guys 3 for 5, so
Yes.
pass, but just barely. You know what
That's
you got? F plus.
F plus.
I call that a strong decent.
Yep, that's great. That's fine with me. Anything with a plus.
That's right. Well,
Well,
team,
that was good.
that was really
That was
good.
solid.
Well
Those
done.
were hard, Chris. Thanks for that, man.
I gotta watch more movies
Exactly.
multiple times.
Every time I do this podcast, I learn how stupid I am when it comes to movies and how much shit I have to watch.
you
It's
could have
terrible.
more relevant areas in which to have lack of
I know. I
knowledge.
could spend my time doing constructive things, like
Or-
like not watch movies, or I can do things that just involve watching movies. And
That's
I'd
right.
rather watch movies
Hopefully, we get to a point with this podcast where that we actually have to
to watch movies.
watch movies all the time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But if you guys like this episode and look forward to hearing more, let me do that again. But if you guys like this episode and want to listen to more in the future, we release a new podcast every Wednesday. Also, we have a YouTube channel and we release videos every Friday. And those videos are going to include what you don't hear on your basic release on Wednesdays. And you
Few
can
extra
also
bits.
see, yeah, got extra bits. You can see us on cam. No, that's not OnlyFans. It's YouTube.
It's free.
So it's free. So you don't have to pay. But if you guys want to talk to us, send us questions, send us comments, or just say what's up, go ahead and send us an email at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. Or go to our Instagram, pcfmpodcast.
Right on. If you want to hang out with me a little bit more, you can go over to Twitch. I stream 3 days a week on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/myhappyself. It's a good time playing video games, hanging out. Really good.
Love it. And if you guys want to check out my streetwear brand, you can find it on Instagram at KickGodApparel, or check our website out at kickgodapparel.com. You want to say it?
Cue music.